Welcome back everyone to my channel. I'm glad to have you back. In today's video I'll be showing you how to prepare this turkey jollof rice, a well detailed jollof rice for beginners. It's looking very nice, no? Alright, I'm going to show you how we did it. Let's go, please. In the bowl here I have 10 plums of tomato. This tomato, you need it to be a plump one. You need 1 onions and 2 pepper. I will just cut them and blend them in the bowl. You can decide to boil them and boil until the water is all out before you blend them, but blending it like this and bringing it down to boil is a good option. So this amount of tomato and pepper that I have here is for 4 cups of jollof rice, but I will be using this to prepare 2 cups of jollof rice to make it more easier and more well detailed for someone who is starting as a beginner. But you need the tomatoes mush. So this 10 plunks of tomato is very okay. So now after blending it, I'll just go ahead and pour them in a pot and set them in the gas to start cooking. It will cook until it is bring down to boil. Always shake from time to time, stir it so that it won't stick to the pot. And while it is still cooking, I have here a thumb size of ginger and 2 garlic. I have 1 habanero pepper and 1 onions. I will cut them and blend them. You can choose to grate them, to blend them, or to crush them. This is for the seasonings of the meat. So after blending it, I'll set it aside. I have 7 turkey in the pan here. This 7 turkey, the ingredients that I will be showing you here is the exact amount that you will need to cook it. I have 1 full spoon of boiling cube. I have half teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of curry and thyme. This is the exact ingredients that you will be needing also to cook this 2 cups of rice. I will introduce the blended mixture as well. You see how smooth I blended them. Everything, I will stir them together and use a thin nylon to cover them and make sure they are marinated so well. If you do it a day before the cooking of the rice, you will have the maximum taste of this jollof rice. So that is exactly what I did. I marinated it overnight. Back to the tomato. Now it is dried. All the water has now dried. Did you see how it is looking? This is exactly how we want our paste to be for this cooking of the jollof rice. I'll set them aside. And now this turkey have marinated the whole night. If you want to marinate it the same day, 2 hours is okay in the fridge. And this is the 4 cups of water that I will be using to cook this turkey and for the jollof rice as well. So now it has steamed for 2 minutes without water. I'm going to pour 3 cups of water in there. Yes, and leave the remaining 1 cup. Cover it and cook until it is done. For the rice, I am using basmati rice and I'm using 2 cups of this. Yes. So for this rice not to be sticky, we have to wash it very well. At first, when you start washing it, you'll find out that the water is cloudy. Yes, it is normal to be like that. So you have to wash it very thoroughly. This is the reason why your rice will not stick together. They will be fluffy when you cook them. So wash them 3 times or until the water is very clear. For me, I wash 3 times. Alright, now the rice is very clean. I'll just put it in a sieve and set it aside. For the concentrated tomato, I'll be using 2 spoons of concentrated tomato for this recipe. I only use tomato. I didn't use any other thing like pepper or bell pepper. I use tomato. So 2 spoons of tomato is very good. For this 2 cups of jollof rice. In total, I used 3 onions. So this 1 onion is for the frying of the stew, and the rest is for the garnishing of it. Now the turkey is well cooked. The next thing I will do is to take the turkeys out and save my stock for the cooking of the rice. Alright, after taking the turkeys out, I'll go ahead and pour the 1 cup of water that is still remaining out of the 4 cups of water that I have set aside for the cookings of this jollof rice. So I will go ahead and pour the 1 cup of water in there in order to rinse out my stock very well. After that, I will just pour it out and clean the pot to fry the turkey. You don't need to sieve it because everything is well blended, so there is nothing there to sieve. And remember, now we have 3.5 cups. That is what we have for the stock. Now to fry the turkey and to cook this jollof rice sauce, I am using 220 ml of sunflower oil. Heat it up. You can check if it is hot by throwing just 1 onion in there. And once it is, cooking well, the oil is ready. What am I even saying? The oil is ready. It's hot. So I'll go ahead and fry the turkey until it is nice and brown. Alright, everything is well fried. I'll go ahead and add in the onion and allow this onion to fry for at least 2 minutes before I will go ahead and add extra curry and thyme. And I am using half teaspoon of thyme and teaspoon of curry powder. These are the ingredients that I use after the ones that I use to cook the meat or the turkey. I just added a teaspoon of thyme and a teaspoon of curry powder. I'll go ahead and add a 2 tablespoons of concentrated tomato. I will fry this tomato for 15 minutes. Yes, you have to fry it on a low heat until those staggy taste goes out, or it is no longer tasting the same the way you added it. Yes, fry it for 15 minutes on a low heat. I am using number 6 of my gas to fry. Alright, after frying for 15 minutes, yes, it's past 15 minutes that I've been frying on a low heat, I'll go ahead and introduce the tomato that we prepped. This is a natural, very tasty, well prepped tomato. We did it together here, you remember? So I'll go ahead and introduce the tomato and stir them very well to combine together. And I will continue frying on a low heat for another 15 minutes until everything is well blended and has a good taste. If you don't fry it long like this, when you are eating this rice or if it is stew, the taste won't be enjoyable. You'll be feeling as if something is slapping you on your cheek. Yeah, it have those sour tastes. You have to fry it until you get rid of those tastes. As you can see, the fryings are going well. Everything are well blended. Next mistake that you may probably want to do is to add oil, thinking that there is no oil. Please don't do that. There is oil in there. There are oil there. So fry on a low heat. You will probably see those oil coming out. Now for the garnishing of that, this jollof rice, I'll be using 2 tomatoes, and 1 onions. I will cut them and set them aside. Now is the time. After more 15 minutes, I have been frying this tomato. So in total, I fried both of them for 30 minutes. I will add the stock in there. I added the whole stock. I don't know what happened. My battery or my phone went off and I didn't show you. I add the whole stock, cover the pot and allow them to cook for 5 minutes. That is it. And everything became like this. So the next thing to do is to take out some tomato, or rather check if I need to add salt. You don't have to add any other ingredients here because you have them all in the stock. And because we're not using much water to cook this jollof rice, if you add more water, you will be rinsing the taste of the stock. But if you don't have any more water or you don't add any more water, this taste of the stock, which was very, very delicious because I marinated overnight, the stock get into the turkey, and after cooking them, the stock was very delicious. So don't add any Maggi or salt, whatever there, unless you feel that you need. I needed a little salt and I added later. So now I'll go ahead and pour in the 2 cups of rice that we washed earlier and stir them properly to combine. You have to stir this very well. Yes, very, very well. If it doesn't mix well, the rice will not have the same color. So now I added 1/4 teaspoon of salt and I added 1/2 cup of water. Because of the salt, that is why I am adding this water. Please don't add more water here because we have enough stew to cook this rice. So stir them very well, cover them and allow them to steam on a low heat after 10 minutes. Yes, after 10 minutes, this is how the rice will be looking. It is not, it have not even started cooking. So the next thing is to stir the rice. Yes, stir them again and mix them properly. And if you are cooking this rice, the pot you are using to cook it is very important. If you have a non-stick pot like this one, that will be very nice. But if you have other pots, please be careful when you are stirring it because it must definitely get burnt. Yes, get burnt, but not too much. So the next thing to do is to stir it very well so that the stew will get under the rice. You cover it again and start cooking. Yes, after you have cooked it for another 10 minutes, which I am using my time. I'm using my time to do this so that I will calculate it so well. So after 10 minutes, you stir it very well. You cook it again after 10 minutes. Then you use your foil to cover it to steam. Now, this rice will steam for 20 minutes before I will open it again. It takes time, yes. If you want to get a very nice, fluffy, delicious, and very colorful jollof rice, you have to be very patient. After 20 minutes, this is how this rice is. It has been cooking on a low heat. In fact, the low heat number 3 of my gas. And this is how it is after 20 minutes. It is not yet cooked. It has not finished cooking. So I will just stir it again. Yes, it will get burnt as I said before. It is normal. But don't allow it to get too much burnt. Because if you get too much burnt, you will not enjoy it. It's just sticking on the pan. It's not really burning. It's sticking. So just stir it again properly. And continue steaming. Because this rice is not yet cooked. Now I will be adding the tomatoes and the onion. This rice don't need butter because there is still oil or moisture in the rice. If you add butter in this rice, you eat much oil. Hence there is still oil. This tomato and these onions will help in the steaming. Yes, because the tomato have water and the onions as well. So if I put it there, it will continue steaming. The rice will also steam again for 10 minutes on a low heat. But if you cannot continue steaming because you are not patient, pour in 2 cups of water there. And the total of the rice cooking will now be 6 cups of water. If you cannot be patient, you can add water now that the stew or the rice have finished absorbing the stew. All the stew we added there, we didn't cook with water. The stew was our water. The rice absorbed them and used them to cook and steam. And that is why we're having this rice so beautiful, so fluffy, tasty. In fact, this rice was very delicious. If you follow these steps, 6 cups of water if you know you cannot steam. If you know you cannot be patient and steam, please 6 cups of water, and that is when the rice must have absorbed the whole stew. Finally, this is it, the outcome of the rice. It is now okay. Look at how it is. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and if you watch up to this extent, you are very, 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 very well appreciated. Thank you. And this is the outcome. After that, we enjoyed the rice. It was very delicious. The turkey, everything was intact. Very simple, very easy to cook. Follow this step and you will never regret making jollof rice. Thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.